So in this video, I'm going to show you a complete breakdown of Ramit Sethi's Find Your Dream Job program. I'm also going to show you how to save $2,337.38
by learning all this stuff on your own in the same amount of time it would take to go through the course. So, a bit of background about myself. I am a professional job coach. I've coached people who never had any experience in an industry, didn't have a degree in the field, to being at C-level positions like CWO, CEO, CMO in a year's time. So I've worked with the hardest of the hardest cases, even people who didn't have any degrees at all. I myself am in a job that requires a 4-year degree and I haven't taken a single college course in the field. So coming at it from that perspective, let's dive right into it.
Welcome to Dream Job, and thanks for committing to taking action by joining this program.
So how this program works is it's an 8-week course. Each week you focus on a different aspect of the job search. And the idea is that each one kind of moves you a bit further along in the job process, all the way to negotiating your salary. Great program concept. It's been done before with books like Get Hired Now, which we'll talk about later. But in general, great concept. And so let's talk about Module 1.
Welcome to Module 1, the uncommon roadmap to finding your dream job. Tested strategies, tactics, and systems you won't find anywhere else. Things that we're going to go over. 5 big career paradigm shifts. Here they are. I'm going to go over each of them in detail.
As you can see, Module 1 is all about the psychological and mental barriers that hold you back from getting your dream job. I think this is important material to cover. Ramit goes over kind of the most common mindsets you need, such as get proactive, also including things like fake it till you make it, just the most common mindsets that you need when looking for a job or really doing anything, but looking for a job it applies to as well. What's interesting is Ramit actually said in this module these are things that everybody knows, but no one actually applies. And then he doesn't actually give you ways to apply it. He goes through the strategy, but not the tactics. So I've found with my clients that if we can eliminate procrastination, specifically on the internet, but in general, if we can eliminate procrastination, then all this other stuff comes naturally. If they stop wasting time, they will naturally find ways to be proactive. They will naturally find ways to, show confidence triggers, fake it till they make it, all that sort of thing. The way we deal with that is, one, we give accountability. We do things like daily calls, weekly calls, betting pools, anything that will get them to feel like somebody will care if they don't do work. That's one way, that's the external. But the internal way, which is really what Ramit's trying to get at, we take from a book called The Now Habit by Neil Fiore. So if you want to learn everything this module teaches and get better tactics, go ahead and read The Now Habit. So let's move on to Module 2.
Welcome to Module 2 of the Dream Job program. Discover your dream job, Beyond Passion, a step-by-step process to discover the job of your dreams. The URL here is linkedin.com/directory/jobs. Now this page is absolutely fascinating, but it's not publicized very well at all. In fact, I don't even know how to get to this page from the home page. So I'm giving you the direct link to it, and we're going to start here. Now what we do on this page is we're going to start off very simple, very loosey-goosey. I don't want you to get too fixated on being perfect here. We're just going to go with the 85% solution, or in this case, maybe even the 60% solution. So we're going to just start browsing by job function. Remember, our goal here is simply to find 3 to 5 job titles that we can use. They may not be perfect. In fact, they may be dramatically flawed. But we're going to pick 3 to 5 that look interesting to us, and then we're going to run through our system.
So you can see Module 2 is all about finding your dream position. Defining the title by doing research, informational interviews, all stuff that a job coach could go over easily. To me, this module isn't really that exciting. I'm not really interested in people who say they want to find their passion but have no idea what that might be. To me, the truly exciting ones are ones who know exactly what they want to do, and then helping them get the exact experiences and resume that just rocket them right into that job. If you're in this area where you're like, I think I have passion, but I haven't found it yet, to me, that's not interesting. But some people are there. So if you're there, a book you can use to give you the same material is a book called Get Hired Now. It'll go through all this stuff, informational interviewing, online research. It'll allow you to figure out what job title you'll need. Moving on to Module 3.
Welcome to Module 3. Discover your dream company. Forget job boards. Use the shadow market to land top jobs before others ever see them. It's actually very similar to how you discovered job titles in Module 2. Just like in that last module, you're going to start with a big list, you're going to filter it down, and you're going to use the cloud technique to explore your options in great detail. Now, I'm going to show you a video demo first, then we'll do a quick breakdown and analysis, and I'll give you some action steps to do on your own. So here's a video with the exact steps to follow.
So module number 3 is all about, as you saw, looking at your dream companies and figuring out exactly what they're looking for, doing incredibly in-depth research on them, and thus being able to, in the future, craft a perfect resume that can exactly fit what they want. This module, I think, is probably the best module in the course. I always find that when we go through this with my clients, this is when you really start to see a momentum shift and you really start to see them gaining traction and gaining contacts and well on their way to actually getting the job. It's a hugely important thing, and I really love Ramit's tactics with LinkedIn to be able to do this. That said, this isn't the only course ever to take this approach. It's a well-known approach to finding jobs. A book that covers the same strategy, a little different tactics, but also still good tactics, is the book Get Hired Fast. Don't confuse Get Hired Fast with Get Hired Now. Get Hired Now is a 28-day program. Get Hired Fast is a 15-day program. Get Hired Fast will go deep into detail about how to do research for your company and figure out what they truly want. Moving on to Module 4.
Welcome to Module 4, Natural Networking, how to cultivate your inner circle of experts, advocates, and connectors. Once you've identified experts, the next step is to reach out to ask for a few minutes of their time. Now, I like to offer an upper bound to this because it makes people more comfortable. For example, busy people, they want to know that if you're a social freak or you're really awkward on the phone, that they're not going to be stuck there for an hour or 2 hours answering really weird questions. 15 minutes is a manageable amount of time. Now, a couple of details here. Meeting in person is ideal, but a phone call is fine too. I like to start emailing on Mondays or Tuesdays and ask to meet later that week. For example, if you email on Thursdays or Fridays, typically it will get lost in the weekend. And so Monday or Tuesday is an ideal time when everyone's starting off their week and they have a clear view of how much time they have for the rest of the week.
Module 4, as you can see, is what Ramit calls natural networking. And what he's talking about when he says natural networking is basically the standard networking techniques that above average performers are using. Things like how to write a proper cold email, how to follow up correctly with that cold email. It's all really good stuff, and the scripts and stuff he gives for those sorts of things are awesome. The thing I think where he flounders a little bit is that email is a really crowded channel. And so what he recommends for cold emailing is just kind of a shotgun approach. Send out a bunch of emails and, format them correctly and you'll get a few responses. Now, that's a good approach. Again, he gives great scripts for how to do that, but what if you could warm up these contacts before you ever reached out to them? What if you could start a buzz about yourself in the industry, get people talking about you, and have them know your name so that when that email comes, it will get them to click on that subject line, which will get them to read that perfectly crafted script that Ramit talks about, which will get them to meet you. So I think that's where he really drops the ball. He doesn't talk about how to market yourself in an effective way and get buzz about yourself in the industry. A book for learning all these networking techniques. The best book on the market, as far as I'm concerned, for networking is Never Eat Alone by Keith Ferrazzi. He covers all the techniques that Ramit covers. He also has example scripts that are highly tested. So if you read that book, it will totally work for you. Let's move on to Module 5.
Welcome to Module 5, the perfect marketing materials. Scripts and strategies to position yourself as the dream candidate. The number one problem with resumes is that they are simply a list of facts. I went to this school, I did Y, I worked at X. This holds true in nearly every resume. This is a profoundly important point. Please listen closely. Facts are not enough. Your resume needs a narrative. It's an underlying thread that ties all of your facts together into a crystal clear snapshot. Remember that. A resume is a marketing document that supports your narrative. You choose the narrative. Someone doesn't choose it for you. You choose it. Most critically, this snapshot must be exactly what your hiring manager is looking for. You're using the exact words he uses. You're addressing the exact fears he has. You're demonstrating expertise in the exact areas he craves. So how do you do this? There are 3 steps. Choose your narrative, trim the fat, and write bullets that sell. Let's look at all these, and then I'm going to show you an example.
So Module 5 is all about writing a cover letter and a resume, as you can see. I think he calls it marketing materials or something. As we discussed in the last module, there's actually much more effective marketing materials. But anyway, so it's writing a cover letter, writing a resume. I think Ramit does a really great job of giving you those high-level concepts that will get you 80 to 90% of your results on the resume. So he talks about things like crafting a story, cutting out unnecessary bullets, tailoring your cover letter and resume specifically to what the job needs, using the language that they use. All stuff that a good job coach or a good resume book cover in spades. I think he does a great job of distilling the material. I just think that there's so little material that you can really use to craft these good things. I pretty much just went over all of it. I just don't think it's worth the price that you're paying for it. So it's a good module, but it could have been, it shouldn't have been a whole week. If you want a book that can give you the same results that you get from this program, I would recommend Quick Cover Letters and Resumes. That'll get you all those same basics that will help you craft amazing cover letters and resumes. Moving on to Module 6.
Welcome to Module 6, the VIP application. Powerful techniques to automatically float your application to the top of the pile. The VIP application really has 2 steps. Number 1, reach out to a VIP, ideally via introduction. Number 2, meet with the VIP informally to see if there's a fit. Now, this sounds pretty simple, but let's break it down. As you can imagine, with anything that I've outlined for you, I give you the high level, but then we break it down, and as we do, we uncover several wrinkles that we may not have ordinarily thought of. So we're going to do exactly that in this module. Let's look at these 2 steps. Some will overlap.
Module 6, as you can see, is about getting referred to a job instead of applying through the front door like everybody else does. If you know anything about the job market, you know that as high as 80% of jobs are filled not through job boards, not through classified, but through other ways such as referrals, internal company, lateral moves, that sort of thing. As low as 60, so even the low estimates are above 50%. So this is the proper way to do it. You got to get introductions, you got to meet the right people, and really get in there. A lot of this is already covered in Module 4. It's a lot of rehashing information. And so I'm just going to recommend the same books. Get Hired Now and Never Eat Alone. Those will give you everything you need to take this approach. And it's really an approach you should be taking If you're not doing this, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Let's move on to module number 7.
Welcome to Module 7, World-Class Interviewing. Mind reading, how to craft the perfect answers to the toughest interview questions. Top performers anticipate the most common questions in advance. They don't even wait to get to the interview. They're already scenario planning it out before they ever sit down. This is what I mean when I say 80% of the work is done before you ever get in the room. So here is the 3-step method I use to give the, quote, perfect response to almost any question. Number 1, find the question behind the question. Number 2, find the plain English answer. And number 3, polish to perfection. So let's look at each of these in detail, and then I'll walk you through some real-life examples.
It's about the little things you can do to really up your interview. One of those things is practice. All the stuff people recommend. Practice. Use language and body language that shows that you're a high-status person. Think about what the questions are actually saying, and then answer what they're trying to figure out, rather than just the question they're asking. All this stuff a good job coach could give you, again, many career books could give you. Where I think Ramit excels in this is that he's a really good coach. And so he has examples of going through people and having them practice and then correcting them. And I learned a few things for my own coaching practice. One of my favorite things is seeing somebody start out in a mock interview and not quite vomit, but just not do a great job. And then over the course of an hour or two, just see them slowly become a master interviewer. So I learned a thing or two from that. Where I think Ramit falters in this is the lip service he pays to solution selling. He mentions, yes, you should know what the company wants. He mentions, yes, you should have a proposal. He doesn't go into the strategies to figure out exactly the problems the companies are facing. He doesn't go into the strategies of how to write a proposal. He doesn't give you example proposals to use. And that's the stuff, this is the stuff where people start getting jobs when we start doing this stuff. So the fact that he doesn't cover that crucial part of when you're interviewing, of actually figuring out what the problem is and solving it, is, I think, a huge oversight. As far as how to interview, I think great material, but I don't think it goes far enough. If you want a book that will show you exactly how to do this, again, Get Hired Now. It will take you through nothing to being a great interviewer. So let's go on to Module 8.
Welcome to Module 8, the psychology of negotiation. The negotiation system that has earned my students thousands of dollars with one conversation. 3 steps to a winning negotiation. Number 1, deferring salary talk until you have an offer. Number 2, getting other offers on the table. Now, this is optional, but as you can imagine, it's highly recommended. And number 3, negotiating the offer itself.
So Module 8 is about negotiating. It's the last true module in the course. And again, it's really good at distilling down those few things that really make the difference. Shutting the fuck up would be one of them. Never being the first one to state the price would be another one. And there's a handful more that make really good negotiators. One of them being practice, just like anything. Practice is going to make you really good at something. But it's nothing groundbreaking. Ramit is known for negotiating. That's one of the things he's known to be good at. So I don't know, I was expecting more from this. I do think it's really good, but if you get a book like Get More Money from Your New Job in Any Economy, it will teach you the same thing. So get that book and you'll be good to go. Let's talk a bit about the hidden message in this program. So this is a diagram of the process that you go through, and he used it several times in several different modules.
Window shopping strategy. Some students sent me some notes saying that they were unclear of how the mechanics of this system work. So I want to spend just a minute to review. Remember, at the top of this is really the deep research parts of it. So you're going through this process, You're studying what is my job title, what are the dream job companies, and these are all potentials. You don't know and you don't have to know. You're simply choosing some options, you're ranking them, and then you're going through the system. So for example, in natural networking, you're going to ask yourself, you're going to ask other people, is this job title right for me? What's the trajectory of a project manager, etc. If the answers you get are answers you like, then you can continue. You then test the market, okay, on and on and on. And if so, by the time you go through all this process, you can focus your energy on finding that dream job. You can customize everything, your approach, your cover letter, your resume, everything. Notice that if at any stage you find that you are not interested in that dream job combination of job title and company, you can simply go back to the top, look at the entries you've stored in the dream job application of other potentials, and just work your way through the system again. Again, very few people get this right the first time, so keep in mind, you are opening yourself up to serendipity. You are expecting failure, okay?
So you figure out what job, your job title, then you see if it works, then you go to people and you see if it works, then you write your cover letter and you see if it works, then you start going to interviews and you see if it works. And if any of these fail, then you stop and you go back to the beginning. It's saying if at any point you find yourself not getting results, then you should give up. That's the hidden message here. It's not saying how can you get more experience on your resume. It's not saying what are the tactics that you can learn more so you become more attractive to the employers. It's saying if you find you're not qualified for whatever reason, give up. And to me, this is one of the most infuriating things about this program, because I've done it and I know there are ways to get you that experience, to overcome the fact that you dropped out of college, to overcome the fact that you're a philosophy major who wants to work at a biotech company in a C-level position, like one of my students just did. So I know there are ways to do it, and the fact that he doesn't cover that material and he just says give up and start over really irks me. Now let's talk about price here. I mentioned the number 233738, $2,337.38. That's the price of the course if you take the 12-month plan, minus the price of the books. So the books are give or take $50, and the course is give or take $2,400. So it seems like a no-brainer, but I would urge you to really consider it. Do you think you're the type of person who, when you read that first book, the Now Habit, you'll instantly apply the strategies and not procrastinate? Are you the type of person who reads a lot of books? Do you take copious notes on them? If yes, go for the books, but if no, those $50 worth of books are worth nothing to you. Absolutely nothing. Likewise, if you can think that with the videos and a community in Ramit's program, even though it's $2,400, you'll get 10, 20, 100 times that over the course of your career if you really focus and apply everything. Similar to my Self-Made Renegade coaching program. So I really urge you to consider who you are and the value you get from each of the options. Thank you so much for watching, and I am going to critique the sales letter below. I'll talk more about that hidden message and where it is in the sales letter, and I'll see you next time.